Hi everybody, Baruch Hashem. We're finishing hopefully today. Maybe not, but hopefully we're going to try and finish the Sikha, Parshas Yisro. This is when the Torah is given, the 20th of Shevat, 5752. And this is also the day, the 20th of Shevat is in between the 10th of Shevat and the 11th of Shevat and the 22nd of Shevat. The 10th of Shevat is the yard site of the Lubavitcher Rebbe. The 11th of Shevat is when the Rebbe Moshiach became Rebbe, and the 22nd of Shevat is when the Rebbetzin Chaim Mushkish was passed away. That's their yard site. So the Rebbe's dealing a lot in different areas, and we're talking about how the idea of why in Parshas Yisro. Anyways, by the way, we're in the book the Rauh words. This is Shemos. There are two books. This is the first book, and it's a translation of last year the Rebbe spoke, and Rebbe Moshiach spoke. And we're on page 229. This starts right now. We're going to be starting on 254, but the Sikha starts on 229. So, explains in there that the basis of the Sikha talks about the whole Inyan, about the Torah was given, repeated, the Ten Commandments we repeated twice. Once when it was given in Parshas Yisro, which is when the Rebbe was speaking, it was not Parsha. And the other one, it was given again and repeated again in the last book of the 5 books of Moses, which is called Deuteronomy. This is Devarim, where it says everything Hashem, Moshiach Rebbeinu repeated everything like Hashem spoke through his mouth, through his throat. So it says there's a difference between the two. Each one has a certain advantage and a disadvantage. It says that the advantage of the first commandments is Hashem spoke directly to all the Jews. And we see that the Jews couldn't take it, so they had to tell Moshiach Rebbeinu, we can't take such revelation, because their souls kept on leaving them and going and being included in God, back to their source. And so then Hashem, when the second commandments, when they repeated through Moshe, this gave the power of the commandments to come down into the world, the Torah to come down in the world. But coming down to the world, it wasn't quite as strong, the same level as when Hashem spoke in the first time when the Ten Commandments are written, when Hashem is speaking it. So Rebbe goes on to explain that both these levels we need, because we need to bring down this level of how Hashem is beyond the worlds, and he's speaking such a high level, this has to permeate the world, so we have to have both. And through Torah and mitzvahs, this is what we've done, and we've made the world a dwelling place where Hashem can reveal his essence in the world itself, and then they can be one. So this is what we're talking about. So we're talking about that when you're supposed to, that when the Torah is given over, you're supposed to give it over in a complete way, just like Moshe Rabbeinu was commanded to tell the Jews in a complete way that they totally understand whatever they can, according to their comprehension, in a complete way to understand what happens in the Torah. That's the idea of bringing the Torah down. So now we're going to start on page 254. It's the second to last chapter of this Sikha, number 11. And 11, as we know, is very special. So what this must be talking with, Rebbe talks about 11 is the level of how it's above Hashem, above the world. It's above 10. The world's represented by 10. And this is how Hashem is beyond the world, and explain how that comes in and gets involved in the world. So according to the explained above, we understand that the lesson from this now, especially in our present time, when we are all now literally right before the true and complete redemption is spoken many times. So here we're standing like, the Torah was given, so there was idea of bringing down godliness into the world, and through doing Torah and mitzvahs, we reveal this high level of Hashem, just as he spoke it was spoken in a real way down here. But now we've done all the work, so even more, it's more emphasized how this level of godliness, of the essence of Hashem, is revealed through us in this world. But the concept is, that's what we said, that just when Hashem spoke and he revealed his essence, and everybody was afraid because they saw the greatness of Hashem, the same thing is that when we're speaking Torah, I'm right now speaking Torah, if I would think and meditate, I'm like a pipeline, that I'm just speaking the Torah from God, and the Torah right now is being given this second, right now as I'm speaking. And that's why if I meditate on the greatness of this, then and I understand it, then right now, because actually that's what is happening, I will also have fear, and like they had at the time of giving the awe and fear. Okay. So from Gakam said it was just as then, which we were talking about, so too presently, just then when the Torah is given, also now it's being given, we learned that in every single generation and in every time and place, The Jewish people have the power to accomplish the concept, and God spoke all of the words, saying exactly as it was said at the giving of the Torah the first time. In other words, every generation, every Jew born since the time of High Sinai, no matter where they were, has this capability that we are speaking the Torah exactly like I'm talking like how Torah sent from Hashem. When we were at Har Sinai, right now the words I have the capability to my talking should be the same talking. Should be mamish the same thing that Hashem is just speaking through me. I'm a pipeline, and that's how it is. And the Rebbe is explaining this is happened, especially in that generation. The power for this. How is it that a Jew could do such an amazing thing? He stays in existence, but he's totally one with Hashem. The power for this we take from the unification of the first utterances, the Ten Commandments, which came through God, and the last utterance of the Ten Commandments, which came through Moshe, as spoken above at length. In other words, the Rebbe is emphasizing that without Moshe Rabbeinu, without the Moshe of every generation, so therefore we're not able to bring down this high level of godliness into the world, that it should permeate, and that Hashem himself should become one with the world in a revealed aspect. That's impossible to do. You need the last commandments had to be something through Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe is the leader, is the mamutza. He what brings together both. He's Ish Elokim, that he's godly. Moshe is godly and he's human at the same time. So through Moshe is able to bring down this highest level into the world, and through us following what Moshe says, we're able to reveal this. And this unification, the first utterances of the commandments, the first 10 commandments, is that what they made the first time? But the last utterance of the commandments, the second time they're repeated, repeats itself constantly. So this idea that Hashem is speaking, and his essence of Hashem is revealing and speaking, revealing himself, and that is coming down into this world in that this level of godliness that's beyond the world is becoming down, becoming enclosed and part of this world. This is happening right now, every second. As it is known that the phenomenon of the giving of the Torah is always present. And we say in the blessing of the Torah, who gives the Torah every day. When the morning we wake up, we make brachas. In the morning we make the morning brachas, blessings. And in this we make the blessing about who gives the Torah. It doesn't who gave the Torah, who gives the Torah. Similarly, when a person goes up to the Torah for an aliyah, when we get a special bracha when we're reading of the Torah on Shabbos and on Mondays and Thursdays and special holidays. That's also, it says, he said, who gives the Torah. This is the language in the blessing. So the Rebbe says it's in the present tense, similarly. So the Rebbe says, emphasizes this similarly, in every generation there is the Moshe of the generation. This is very, very important. Who gives over the word of Hashem, of Torah. We need the Moshe to give this over, to know us what to do, to know what to bring down godliness into this world. We need the Moshe of our generation, which is the Rebbe Melech Moshiach. And from all this is understood that in each and every generation, every generation, unification of the first and last utterances of the commandments repeats itself. Moreover, in a higher way, because each generation, it's even more, there's more higher levels of godliness revealed into a lower level, because it goes to a higher level. Repeats itself more in a higher way, according to the rule, in holy matters we all must ascend. It says a rule by a Dvar Malchus, holy things also must go from level to level. We must go to higher and higher. Can't stay the same. So this gives the power that just then, so too presently, there should be the revelation of God spoke. As the Rebbe says, so therefore, since we're always going to a higher and higher, let's go over this again. Not sure how this ties in, that this gives the power. This gives the power. And let's go to the beginning of the paragraph. And this, the unification of the first utterance of the commandments, we said, PARASHAT Yisro, and the last utterance of the commandments, which we said when Moshe repeated it, repeats itself constantly. As it is known, the phenomenon of the giving of the Torah is always present. As we say in the blessing in the Torah, who gives the Torah, in present tense. Similarly, in every generation there is the Moshe of the generation, the Rebbe Melech Moshiach in our generation, who gives over the word of Hashem, Torah. From all this it is understood that in each and every generation, the unification of the first and last utterances commandments, repeats itself. The idea of Hashem from above coming down directly and below into the world repeats itself. Moreover, it doesn't repeat itself, it repeats in a greater way. But there's more Hashem revealed, and it comes more to a lower level that's revealed. According to the rule that in holy matters we always must ascend. So this gives the power that just as then, so too present. That just as then when we received the Torah it was with awe and fear and trembling, so too now. That there should be the revelation of God spoke. So now, actually, we have more and more capability that when we speak the Torah, that we should see that this is mamish from Hashem Himself. How? And this is done. How is this done? This is done through the Rebbe, through the Moshiach of the generation, Rebbe Melech Moshiach. So therefore, you have to follow what he says and what his Torah is. Very interesting. You know, the Rebbe probably published more Torah than anybody, probably in history. They had more books published, that's for sure. And the revelations of the secrets of the Torah in all areas is beyond belief. As we see, just by learning what the Rebbe says, that a lot of these things, as we say, are new things that were revealed by the Rebbe Moshiach. Just like new things are revealed, he revealed the new secrets of the Torah, that everything is Hashem, and explains us why and how it works and why we're there. So now we're on page 255, the second paragraph. How much more so in our generation, which we see clearly that the Moshe of our generation, my revered father-in-law, the Rebbe, leader of our generation, is connected with the revelation, the unification of 10 and 11. Remember, we talked about that 10 is the completion of the person, that 10 attributes, and 11 is a level above that, to the extent that the 11 within 11 is explained above. As really the Rebbe is talking about himself, because before he said above, we explained that the Friedrich Rebbe passed away on Shevat, which is the 11th month and the 10th day, which represents the completion of the worldly matters, that the powers of the soul, the 10 kolchos of soul, the 10 sefirot, are complete. This has to do with the world, such a way that God is revealed through it. But then there's a higher level, he says, that when you have Hashem Himself, the level 11 beyond the world, that's the main thing. And that's revealed in, and that's what's the main revelation. And the world exists, but that's secondary. Indeed, this brings about that even more, so there it says, so let's go, how much more, so we'll go from the beginning, how much more so in our generation, in which we see clearly, how much time do we have? Let me turn this on.
We have used 12 minutes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, how much more so in our generation, in which we see clearly that the Moshe of our generation, my revered father-in-law, the Rebbe, leader of our generation, is connected with the revelation, unification of 10 and 11 to the extent that 11 within is 11 explained above. Indeed, this brings about out even more the connection of the evenly present and just then in the generation as just then in the generation. In other words, he says that the revelation that the Friedrich Rebbe revealed, how everything's finished, and the revelation when the Rebbe took on to be in Nesius, and the next day, the 11th, there's the revelation of how Hashem, the essence of Hashem, is revealed down into the world in more of a complete way. This is even more so, he says, that when we're learning Torah now, with the Rebbe's emphasis, how much more special it is, how much more everything is, we're just doing God's will. And explaining that his generation will always, the Rebbe explained, because we're going up in levels, and the whole Sichas up, but the Rebbe explained more and more in this. It's an amazing stuff. We have to understand this is real, this is reality. And if we tie ourselves into this reality, we'll be happier people, we'll do more for other people, and we'll be healthier in every way. Anyway, so let's go further. Mitzvah Hashem, we should take a resolution to learn this and follow this more and more. And through this, we should come to the base of Mikdash Shlishis right away. And this, we see its greater emphasis. Since our generation is the last generation of the exile and the first generation of redemption, and especially recently, it has been spoken many times, that we've already completed everything, and now all that is needed is the redemption in actuality, the revelation of the level of 10, the 10th song, together with the revelation of 11, you are one, the revelation of his essence, blessed be he, below in the true and complete redemption through our righteous Moshiach, who's connected with Moshe Rabbeinu, our teacher, the first Redeemer, as connected to the last Redeemer. So the Rebbe, let's look down in 93, the Rebbe is going to explain over here that Moshe Rabbeinu is the first Redeemer, but he's not the last Redeemer, but he empowers the last Redeemer. So, says over there, 93, says in the addition of Chaya Sarah 5752, this statement is explained as follows: Moshiach is not Moshe himself, for Moshiach is from the tribe of Yehuda, whereas Moshe is from the tribe of Levi. However, Moshe is connected to Moshiach, and Moshe gives the empowerment for the ultimate redemption, as explained there at length. In other words, the Moshe gave the power The Moshe is like the level of Mashiach, as I've explained in another place. Mashiach is like the level of the down in this world, is Malchus, and Moshe is like the level beyond the worlds. So similarly, you could maybe come, I didn't see this written, but this is my own thing, so take it for what you want. That Moshe Rabbeinu would be like the first 10 commandments that were spoken at Mount Sinai, and the Rebbe is like the last 10 commandments, even higher. Probably the Frierdiker Rebbe would like the last time to repeat it, because that was bringing down godliness into the world, and the Rebbe is a level beyond both. And especially in accordance with what, now we're on page 256, and especially in accordance with what has been spoken many times. The possible acronym alluded in the name of Miyad, when you say Mashiach should come Miyad immediately: Moshe, Yisro, Baal Shem Tov, and Dvar Malchus Mashiach. Miyad is the letters Mem, Yud, Dalet. Mem is Moshe. Yud has to do with Yisro, Baal Shem Tov, which is the first who revealed Chassidus in the world, the Torah of Mashiach. And Dvar Malchus Mashiach is the King Mashiach himself. So this means that the first generation's giving of the Torah, the generation Moshe, connects with the last generation of the redemption through Dvar Malchus Mashiach. So how does Moshe Rabbeinu, who says he's the first Redeemer and the last Redeemer, so how does Moshe Rabbeinu connect with the final Mashiach from the base David? Via the revelation of Chassidus of the Baal Shem Tov, and the Rebbes, our leaders, his successors. So how is it the Mashiach does this? The Mashiach does this, how does he connect? How is he connected to Moshe Rabbeinu? This is through the teachings of the Baal Shem Tov and all the Rebbes and his successors, and all their successors who taught the greatness of the Torah, the secrets of the Torah. This is what connects Moshe Rabbeinu to Melech Mashiach, to the Rebbe. Which it says, why is this? Which when your well springs are spread outward, the Master comes and teaches. This is Melech Mashiach. It's known that there's a famous letter by the Baal Shem Tov that when he passed he had written a letter, I forget to who, but it's a written letter that I think it was his son-in-law or brother-in-law. I don't remember. Sorry. But anyway, he wrote in the letter, and in the letter he said that he thought he'd passed away, and he went up to the chamber of Moshiach, and he was in the chamber of Moshiach, and he asked Moshiach, when are you coming? The Moshiach says, when the well springs of Torah is spread out. So this whole idea is that the whole idea of spreading of the Torah down below into this world brings Moshiach. So this is what the Rebbe is saying, that Moshe, how was Moshe brought and connected, the first Redeemer of the Jewish people, to the last Redeemer? Through the Torah of Chassidus, because the Torah of Chassidus is known as the Torah of Moshiach. So this was done by all the Rebbes, and notice it says over here, his successors. And the Rebbes are leaders, his successors. So in other words, each Rebbe is okay. Anyway, let's go further. And we may say, so now we're going to go and make another Chiddush. The Rebbe is going to talk about something super special. So over here we said there are different times and generations. Generation of Moshe Rabbeinu, generation starting from probably from Yosef Yitzchak, which seems to include the Baal Shem Tov, Torah of Mashiach, and then find the final Mashiach based David. So, but they're not necessarily all the same time. They're different periods. So Rebbe is going to be Mechadish that really this has to be there has to be when it's Miyad, it has to be at the same time, because Miyad one right after the other. It seems like right away immediately. And we may say that befitting the meaning of the word Miyad, immediately, we must say that these three letters of Miyad, Mem, Yud, and Dalet are not connected with different time periods. This is a Chiddush, something new the Rebbe is bringing in. It's something that nobody else thought of before brought in the world. So that the three different time periods of Moshiach and his generation, Yisro Baal Shem Tov and his generation, and Dvar Malchus Mashiach and his generation, rather they all come out as one, literally one next to the other. So they're all together, i.e. in the same generations. They're all live together at the same time. Miyad, in each and every generation, as well as in all times. This should be, at this level of miyad, these three levels should come immediately, comes is each and every generation. So that this understanding of the word of miyad may also be inferred from the fact that miyad alludes to the acumen of Moshe, Yeshua, Doram, their generation, which all three of them were in one generation. So he says miyad can also see Mem, Moshe, then the Yud is Yeshua, he was the one who followed Moshe, and then Doram, they lived in one, and their generation, they all lived together at one time. So this is the bigger thing. So the Rebbe is going to explain how this relates to us. It's amazing. It explains how mamish the Rebbe is Moshiach. So too we may also understand our particular generation, namely that in the same. Hold on, I think I missed a main footnote here. No, I didn't. Okay. So too we may also say, we're last paragraph 256. So too we may say also regarding our particular generation, namely that this is the same generation. We have the revelation of all three of them: the Mem, Moshe Rabbeinu, the Yud, the acronym of two names of my revered father-in-law, the leader of the generation. Now the Mem also goes to Moshiach, but it's to note that since in Hedrin, Mem goes on Menachem, goes on the Rebbe. So Mem is Moshiach, and also the name of Moshiach, the Rebbe brings down this footnote, is Menachem. And then we have the Yud, which represents Yosef Yitzchak, the two Yuds, the two Ys, and the names of the previous Rebbe, with the two names of my father-in-law, the leader of our generation, Yosef Yitzchak. And then you finally have, in the same generation, the Dalet, their generation. So together we had the Friedrich Rebbe and the Melch Mashiach and the Rebbe. Together with Moshe of our generation, my revered father-in-law, the Rebbe of our generation, the aspect of the 10th of Shevat, also including the revelation of Torah Chassidus, the wellsprings of the Baal Shem Tov through him. So this, that Friedrich Rebbe revealed the level of Torah's Chassidus and the level of on the 10th of Shevat that was revealed through him, and that these revelations came through him, the wellsprings of Torah through him. We also have even a greater revelation, which is when the Rebbe became Rebbe, which on the 11th of Shevat is the aspect of the 11th pipeline. Remember we said that originally, when we said earlier, that when Moshe Rabbeinu, the Torah was given to him, it was more like a funnel. That it was drawing, but it still went to a lower level. But now, by the 11th, by the Rebbe Moshiach, that it's not like a funnel; it's like a big pipeline that it goes full. There's not. The influence is not less. The influence is just as much. So a pipeline for Hashem, the revelations. So that the first Redeemer, as we say, is the last Redeemer, Dvar Malchus Mashiach. Look at 96. See in the address 22, down below 257. See in the address of 22 of Shevat 5752, chapter 8, that the service of the Rebbe Veras is mainly revealing the level of 10, and the service of the Rebbe King Melch Moshiach Shlita is mainly through the revelation of the level of 11. Rebbe is mainly in revealing the level of 11. So the Rebbe's main thing is revealing how Hashem is totally beyond the world, into the world, and the Friedrich Rebbe is more to make the world a complete vessel, so that godliness can be totally revealed through it. So now we're on 257, second paragraph, the middle paragraph, the second. We may say this is also a thing. That there's also the Rebbe saying, and we may say, we have to remember this is Mamash Achidah, something new God gave through the Rebbe for us now. And we said before everything, we have to tie ourselves to the leader of the generation. So, and by us following the Rebbe, he tells us more and more. It's wonderful. Rebbe's wonderful. Anyways, that these three, i.e., what's these three things? My father-in-law, the Rebbe, the Moshe, the intermediary that connects. 2, the wellsprings of the Baal Shem Tov revealed through the father-in-law, through the Friedrich Rebbe. And 3, finally, Dvar Malchus Mashiach revealing the concept of a pipeline of revelations. So the father-in-law here, the three concepts on Moshe Rabbeinu is the intermediary which connects Hashem with us, and through revealing and through him he reveals the secrets of the Torah, which was like the wellsprings of the Torah of the Baal Shem Tov, and through this we finally come to the level that Moshiach is totally revealed. 3, revealing the concept. What is the idea of revealing of Moshiach? The revealing of the concept, the pipeline of Hashem's revelation, that Hashem is totally revealed here, just as much as above. And similarly, analogous to the 3 above mentioned aspects, but you have namely the first, the utterance, the commandments that we said in PARASHAT Yisro when Hashem spoke them through the Holy One, blessed He, and similarly via the revelation of the hidden and inner dimensions of Torah, beginning through the Baal Shem Tov. So also this has to do with the idea of the first commandments, revelation of godliness in the world that came through the Baal Shem Tov, was similar when Hashem spoke. The last utterance of the commandments via Moshe, like we said, Moshe repeated them, that's how he brought it down. And the beginning at 10 and 11, it will be completed to the revelation. So that's the second level, that Moshe Rabbeinu reveals the Torah and then gives it over to the Jewish people in a complete way. That's the last, that we understand it. And then we found the final unification of 10 and 11. So what's 10? That's HaKadosh Baruch and what the level of Moshe revealing, as will be completed through the revelation. How are we going to get to the unification of 10 and 11, these 2 high levels? This is well done through the revelation of the new secrets of the Torah that should be revealed by me. This, how is it done? Hashem is going to reveal these new things. Let's look at 97. It says, revealing the level of a pipeline for the revelation of Hashem, transcending the concept of an intermediary which connects. So therefore, in that Moshe Rabbeinu, you become a totally pipeline for Hashem in the world. You're no longer an intermediary. It's interesting. People always get upset, say, I don't need the Rebbe, I have straight with Hashem. Well, we're learning here that you need the Rebbe, you need the tzaddik of the generation, tzaddik Yisod Olam. But he says the final thing is that you really don't need that. You don't need somebody to bring it down to lower level. This is the level of Moshiach, is that everything is brought down in a complete way. And everything is revealed. There it says, the new secret of the Torah shall be revealed by me. The Torah, as it transcends the world and human intellect, the 11th from Korah, this level revealed, which transcends the 10 commandments that were given at Korah, that were given at Mount Sinai, will be revealed in the Torah, thereby truly uniting the laws of the Torah with their deepest reasons. So this level of 11, how Hashem is totally hidden, his revelation, kindness hidden, is beyond revelation, will be revealed, and therefore you'll understand the deepest reasons, coming from the essence and all-encompassing one. It comes mamish from God Himself, the essence of God, which transcends Moshe, the intermediary that connects Him, that in the true and complete redemption through our righteous Moshiach. And all of this will come through our righteous Moshiach. In other words, that our righteous Moshiach is the pipeline whereby everything is revealed into the world. But it's totally revealed. Okay, now we're in number 12. Now that we realize that Mamish Hashem is revealed and everything is one, and when I'm speaking now, I have to feel it and sense it more that I'm speaking special God's word, just when God spoke the 10 Commandments. Now the lesson, number 12, the lesson from this is, i.e. of all the above, for each and every Jewish person, men, women, and children, in regard to action, and especially every Jewish person of our generation, standing presently, so the Rebbe is talking about, we're standing presently in Shabbos of the Torah portion of Yisro, when we read in Shul from the Torah, the portion of giving a Torah in addition, and we are coming from the 10th of Shevat, the 11th month, which is, we're preparing ourselves for the 22nd of Shevat, 2 times 11. So the Rebbe is saying we have to see where we're sitting here in the holy place in Shul, and where Torah is good, that where we're sitting in Shabbos, which comes from the prior to this was the 10th of Shevat, was the time when the Frierdiker Rebbe passed away, and this abode of higher avoda was finished. And then we're coming to the 22nd of Shevat, which is 2 times 11. This is the yard site from the Rebbe's wife. Every Jew must take a lesson from. And God spoke for all these words saying, so we all have to think about how God, as Mom is speaking through us, which it said in the first person in singular, I am Hashem your God. It doesn't say, I'm Hashem your God in plural. It says, I am your God who's taking you out from Egypt. In other words, personally, that each person has Hashem and Hashem took us out, and and each of us, it's not that we're person of this relationship, in order to teach us that this is a commandment and lesson for him for every generation. This is in order to teach us that this is a command and lesson for him for every generation. Hold on, I missed the train of thought here, I'm sorry. God spoke all the word saying, which is for the first person in saying, I am the Lord your God who has taken you out of Egypt, etc. In order to teach us that this is a commandment and lesson for him and for every individual. So this lesson that Hashem took us out from Egypt in order to teach us that we're mamish one with God. I think this is what the Rebbe is talking about. That what's gone. Maybe let's explain a little bit more. Jesus says at the giving of the Torah that together with it being an event which only took place one time in history, the giving of Torah has an effect and a continuation of all times in the matters just as then, so too presently. So when the Torah was given, it's given one time, but it has effect that we see it, that the power of Hashem is always being revealed on a daily basis. So too must be now, and when we read from the Torah portion, we must take from it. So here we're sitting in shul reading this Torah portion, this portion Torah, good resolutions in regard to actions throughout the following days, weeks, and months. The Rebbe says something that I have to do more. I'm not so good at this personally, that you have to make good resolutions, especially when you're special good times, because when you make a decision, you're going to do something, and you have a special time, like you have special energy, like right now, it's a special holy time to give me the Torah, then this gives you time to make more good decisions and resolutions, that you do more good, and it gives you the strength to do it. So that's what he says. We must take from it, this portion of the Torah, good resolutions in regard to action. So we must learn to do good things from the Torah portion throughout the following days, weeks, and especially resolutions that are related to the concept that 10 and 11 is mentioned above. So it's that we have to do the level of bringing God and revealing godly in the world. This means that, what's this mean? That just says at the giving of the Torah, all the Jewish people. How much time? What time is it? Goss. What time is it? How much time we got?
31.
31 minutes now?
Yep.
Okay. So then I guess we're going to go and finish this. Let's see. Let's do one more paragraph and then we'll finish. This means it's just as at the beginning of the Torah, of the giving of the Torah, this means it's just as at the giving of the Torah, all the Jewish people gathered together in a matter of, and the Jewish people camped there as one man with one heart. So too, there must be also in the service of a Jew, every individual Jew, that he must gather together the 10 powers of his soul, all his energies, and make from them a tzibur, congregation, entirely for the purpose of serving Hashem. So everything you spot, speech and action, how you feel, how you think, should all be for serving Hashem, both with his 10 inner powers and the 3 faculties, intellect and 7 and the set of intellect and 7 attributes, chachma, bina, vadas, and all the attributes, and also with his all-encompassing powers, the aspect of 11, how a person is beyond Hashem, namely with pleasure and will and pleasure, as alluded in the verse, with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might. Zaygasum to everybody. We're going to finish this next lesson, and hopefully we'll get some more done. Everybody have a wonderful night, and hopefully we're going to be in the most wonderful place right away. Hashem should look what we're doing. We're learning the Rebbe's Moshiach special work, revelation, and this should right away bring us to the third base of Mikdash.